Hi, in this short video presentation, I'm going to be talking about a very important counseling technique called motivational interviewing that has been used by many health professionals to help clients adopt a healthy lifestyle. Usually, clients come to the therapist because they are ambivalent about their situations. On the one hand, they understand that their sedentary lifestyle is causing them pain and guilt and is generally undermining their health. But on the other hand, they also understand the cost involved in adopting a healthy lifestyle. For example, they might have to pay extra money to get a gym membership, or they might have to put on more time going for a run. And so they are not 100% confident as to which lifestyle to adopt. And so they are in ambivalence. Motivational interviewing helps resolve this ambivalence by evoking motivation from the client. In other words, the client is asked to come up with his own pros and cons of not engaging in regular moderate intensity exercise. So for instance, a client may say, well, if I don't engage in exercise, I may not be able to play with my kids. Or conversely, he might say, if I keep on adopting this unhealthy sedentary lifestyle, then I might have to be hospitalized soon. It is, however, important to realize that motivational interviewing is not a quick fix technique that can help change clients instantly. A therapist has to embody the spirit of motivational interviewing when dealing with their clients. The spirit of motivational interviewing is encapsulated by this simple acronym called RULE, R-U-L-E. The R stands for resisting the writing reflex. Oftentimes, when clients come to therapists with their problems, the therapist assumes an expert role and advises, instructs, and informs the client about the proper way to behave. But this attitude can be met with resistance and uncooperation, which is not helpful. So as therapists, it is important to resist this writing reflex and to understand where the client is coming from, his personal motivations, his personal life circumstances, and so on. The U stands for understanding client's motivation. So as therapists, instead of giving reasons to client to change their behavior, we want to understand why the client wants to change his or her behavior. For instance, the client may say, I want to lead an active, healthy lifestyle because that would allow me to be fit and I will be able to play with my kids. Or he or she might say, well, if I get rid of my sedentary lifestyle, then I may live a few years longer. So instead of forcing reasons onto client, we want the clients to come up with their own reasons to change their behavior. The L stands for listening with empathy. So instead of treating our clients as a case to be managed or a patient to be diagnosed, as therapists, we need to treat them as unique individuals with unique problems and unique solutions to their problems. And when we listen to them with empathy, they are much more likely to be supportive and receptive of our interventions. This will help them feel respected and they will be much more open to our suggestions. The E stands for empowering the client. So as therapists, we want to motivate clients to adopt a healthy lifestyles, and simultaneously we also want to draw on clients' past successes. So we want to ask, how did you manage to achieve this success in the past? What did you do specifically that got you this desirable result? And what will happen eventually is the client will feel empowered and motivated, because now they understand that they were successful in the past and they can replicate this success in the future as well. We also want clients to set goals so that they are motivated and they can now have something to aspire to. Motivational interviewing fundamentally is a guiding technique instead of being an advising technique. And there are several strategies that therapists can use to guide their clients toward a desirable outcome. The acronym OARS, OARS, encapsulates the strategies that can be used to guide clients toward desirable result. O stands for open-ended questions. A stands for affirmations. R stands for reflection, and S stands for summarization. So let's start with open-ended questions. So as therapists, instead of asking clients questions that start with what and when, that generally elicit short responses, we want to ask clients questions that begin with how and why. So instead of asking, do you exercise? We want to ask them, what makes you come to me today? Or why do you want to exercise more? This elicits more honest and descriptive responses from the client, which is always helpful. Let's talk about affirmations now. This involves encouraging the client to take the right step and acknowledge if the client has made any progress so far. So if a client says, well, this week I've managed to run this many kilometers, instead of saying, well, you could do better, as therapists, we want to say, good job. I really appreciate your effort. I hope we can continue to do the same in the future as well. This empowers and motivates the client. The R stands for reflection. And this involves putting into your own word what the client has said. For instance, if a client says, I would like to join gym, but my finances are not in order, so I may not be able to commit myself to a gym membership. As therapist, you want to acknowledge what the client says and say, in your own word, I understand where you are coming from. Because of your finances, you may not be able to join a gym membership, but how about running around in the nearby park? This shows that you are actively listening to the client. Finally, there is summarization. Building on the idea of reflection, summarization goes a step further. And this involves encapsulating everything the client has mentioned thus far and integrating all those elements and presenting it to the client. What it does is it makes the client feel understood and help integrate all the fragmented ideas into a congruent, integrated whole.